You're listening to Open for Discussion, where, man, y'all probably shouldn't have said that. It tends to happen. Let's start the show.
7:15 East Music Group.
Welcome to Open for Discussion, where any and everything is on the table to be discussed. I'm the host, Albert, and of course, I got my brothers from another mother in here with me. I got my boy, Cleet the Geek. What's going on?
What it do?
I got my boy, a.k.a. Diddy Rowe. We ain't gonna use his government name.
Como está?
Oh.
And of course, the always opinionated, but always got something educated to say as well, my boy, G-Dub.
Yo.
What's going on, fellas? How things been going?
Good, man.
Things been great, man.
Busy.
Yeah? What you mean busy? What you got going on?
Man, my little guy just turned 5, man. So milestone for him.
Congratulations.
Just spent better part of last week just
You're black and you're still in his life?
Yeah, man. Come on. Right. Come on, man. I'm here. No, man,
JK.
No, it's awesome, man. It's just seeing him going from, baby and I was just talking to one of my co-workers a couple of days ago about, like, I'm having conversations with them, man. It's just amazing to just see that process. I know you know all about it.
Absolutely, man. I got a bunch of legits running around, man.
Yeah, so it's just amazing experience, and I'm happy for him. Happy to be, sending him on a path that's going to give him the tools he needs and give him the opportunities that I didn't get. So
absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
happy about that.
Anything else going on, fellas? I know Dub got some exciting news going on with the house process. How's that coming along, man?
I am, what's today? The 6th? 22 days away from closing.
Yeah.
22 days.
I give you a round of applause for that, man, because that's, like I said, that's the ultimate dream, man. You want to set a foundation to show your kids, mainly show your kids that, home ownership is achievable. That hard work, dedication. You do your thing. B, what's going on with you, man?
Hey, man, a lot going on. Keeping it moving, man. Just doing everything in stride, man. Stop trying to get all in my business.
All right, man. I appreciate you saying a whole lot of extra nothing. But no, in reality though, man, how's your? I know when we last spoke about as far as the home ownership situations and in all of our lives. I'm gonna get back to you, Khalid. I know you had appointed a realtor at this point to start looking. How's that process going?
Man, it's a process. It's a process, man. We're we believing for a certain home, but man, this Sanford real estate market each day is booming.
Yeah.
So
say what you want to say about Sanford,
man.
But it is the real estate market, boy. I know them realtors are extremely happy right now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get back to you, Cleet. I'm coming to you right now. So how's the how's the process going along with you right now?
Good, man. Just still got a little ways to go. We just getting everything lined up, and we have we have a projected date in October now. So so it's getting close. And we're just getting everything lined up. But man, hey, it's a journey. We like all of us can say here. There's and people that have gone before us. It's a lot of ups and downs in it. But I've gotten to a place where I'm just like, hey, man, I'm just gonna get to the finish line.
That's it.
I don't care how I get there, but I know when that day comes, you need to give me them keys.
Hey,
you know
man,
what I mean?
So it's like a marathon race, man. Yeah. Not everybody can run through the finish line.
Yeah.
But if you finish, you can say you completed it.
Just finish.
Yep.
No matter how long it take you.
As far as our home situation, man, we're in the process now of speaking with the lady who actually owns the home that we're actually in right now.
Okay.
The process is looking promising. So, if the numbers work, we ready to jump on this thing, and we're going to leave it at that. Because like I said, we're in a very premature stage right now. So we're just trying to, we're going to trust God on it and just follow his lead. That's that.
All we can do is finish strong, man.
That's it, man. You got to. You always got to. If you're going to start something, finish. That's all that matters. People are always concerned about how you finish or the way you finish. It's like, no, finish. And then we'll talk about the rest after that.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that haven't completed the race of life, but yet they've already given up and they feel like they've lost.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that, man. You
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
running your race, and the day you quit is the day you lose. So if you never say you quit, you can't call yourself a loser.
Yeah.
We're going to power through that, though. That's a little nugget for you for free.
We appreciate that, man. That's a good nugget, bro.
That was good.
Script that, man. You got that. You got that written down, bro. Put that on your wall, man.
Dang, it's
I really
recorded.
dislike that guy.
No, honestly, man, I agree with that 100%. I think that as a society, as a people, psychologically, we are just so focused on the new bright and shiny object syndrome that we do not complete one thing before moving on to the next thing. And sometimes life presents you with challenges and obstacles that prevent you from being able to complete in the time frame that you initially thought. But like you said, just finish.
Yeah,
Like,
keep
whatever,
going.
just finish. Cross that thing off your list and move on to the next thing.
Yeah, because a lot of times we put time limits on things that
shouldn't
shouldn't really have a time limit
Exactly.
on. You know what I mean? I remember a goal of mine was to be physically retired by the age of 35. So by the time when I'm 38, I'll be 39 this year. So, looking at it, it's like, man, I missed my goal by so much. And then, you'll find yourself, to me, the thing about me is I don't have a depression mode in me, but it kind of took a toll on me stress wise because it made me feel like I failed my family, and my wife, she would look at me and be like, "Boy, what is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of looked at it and was like, "You're right. I haven't quit. So I'm still in the race. I may not have got across the finish line at the time that I wanted to see, but again." Finish the race, and then you have a chance to keep getting better.
Yeah. A lot of times, and we're all saying the same thing. It's just we put this pressure. You put that like you'll give yourself a vow when you're like 12 or something, and it's like you're trying to live up. Just like, who told you that? Like you stressing out in life.
I'm gonna be better than my family.
This ain't gonna ever happen to me. And it's like, yo, you like, you're blessed. You know what I mean? You got a lot more than you would have had it had you not, gotten in this situation or that situation. So it's like, I've this house situation has actually caused me to be more reflective on just my life, man, and what God's blessed me with, man. Because you get in this whole process, I have my expectations of how it's going to go and what I was going to do, and and when it should happen, and so on and so forth, and all that's just knocked out. It's all tore up, ripped up. Man. Everything that I thought it would be is totally different. So now I'm at this thing where I'm like, hey. They say October. If it's October, if it's February, if it's whatever, I know I'm going to get those keys and I'm going to walk in that.
You're going to have it,
walk
man.
into the manifestation of that thing. So, it's
all
just
right
about
now, man. Preach that thing now. Preach that thing now.
Manifestation is a word.
Oh, man.
But I'm just saying, man. Seriously,
No, man. That's definitely good, man.
And it's good to see people go before you, man. Our realtor, he just, got in his situation where he was going down one path the entire time.
Yeah, man.
Things switched up, and y'all know the story. And at the very end, still end up getting what he wants. So things like that encourage me in this process. So yeah, we all saying the same.
For those of you who don't
man.
know the story, our realtor, who's basically all of our realtor, he was in a situation where he thought he had something. It didn't work out, but that path ended up taking him to another path, which opened up for him, and man, it is ridiculous. The things that he got, that would be another day when we reveal who the actual realtor is and let him tell his own testimony.
Yeah.
But speaking of pressures that we put on ourselves and things in life that that may take you by surprise, how many of you guys in here feel that if pressure came and you had to jump in to rescue a stranger or a stranger's child or, just say someone that's not in your family, do you think that you'd be able to answer that call? Or do you feel that you'd be able to answer that call, no matter what the circumstances are?
This is why I'm not a firefighter right now.
Oh, we know you. We know you tried though. We know you tried, man.
I had to answer that exact question. I was like, am I really going to run into a fire for somebody I really don't know? Yeah. Where do I quit at? I know we're not talking about quitting, but in all seriousness, like, yeah, I quit that. Okay.
Straight up.
No hesitation.
I mean, that mean you can leave it at that, man.
No.
You ain't got to explain it.
No.
You ain't got to explain that one.
No, but I mean, in all seriousness, I think a child would move me to act before another adult would, because I just, a kid, I just feel like, they're innocent, right? So it's like you don't want to see them in a situation where they're going to lose their life. Now, will I put my life on the line? Is that the question?
Yeah. If you're going to rescue someone, sometimes your life has to be on the line.
I don't think it's my place to do that. When I have a family, as a single guy, when I was in college or something, yeah, I probably would have.
Okay.
But when I have a family that's waiting for me to come home, it's not I can't take my life and give it to someone else like that.
Okay, fellas.
That's my thoughts.
What you got, Diderot?
I think it's too vague to give an honest answer.
Okay.
It would certainly depend on the situation. I've interceded in instances where I saw a guy and a lady in an altercation. I've interceded in those which, often you don't know how that's going to turn out. I've intervened in situations where I saw a person getting jumped. I've intervened in situations where I saw just a one-on-one fist fight between two gentlemen, just to break it up. Not that I was, siding with one or the other. So I think throughout our life, I think we can all look at instances where we've intervened in situations.
True.
But like I say, it's case specific. I tend to think I have, a compassionate heart. So,
okay.
I again, like I say, it depends on the situation.
If it's life or death, though?
Again, situational.
Vague.
Situational.
Okay. Dub, what you got?
Yeah, I think the same thing as Brian. I think that there have been countless times I can remember in my life that I intervened in situations that could have resulted in life or death, but you weren't thinking life or death. You're just thinking stop the situation, like whatever it is. Like, someone's getting beat up on, that could mean life or death. That person has a weapon, or whatever.
Very true.
You just literally, you're doing what you believe is morally right at the time. And I don't think in those moments, obviously now as I'm more mature, I trust the voice inside of me to tell me, hey, you just need to chill out right here, to let you know that could escalate to that situation. But I think that I'm not going to sit idly by and let something I know is wrong happen.
Okay, well, I think everybody's saying the same thing. So let me paint the picture for you.
Thank you.
Say you're downstairs, walking past a hotel, and you see what seems to be a 2 to 3, maybe 4-year-old child dangling from the fourth floor.
Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man.
And doesn't seem like anybody is around that's going to be able to help him. What would your instincts tell you to do?
Well, that's an easy one for me. I can't climb like Spider-Man. I'm going to stay on the ground. Well, I know I can catch the baby. I know I can catch a baby from that flight. And while I call 911 or try to solicit help, I'm going to stay in a position where if this baby would fall, I can catch it. Simple as that.
Straight up, man.
Yeah, I think, again, situational, right? If a baby's dangling from up there, I trust my athletic ability to catch more than I trust my athletic ability to climb.
Now, you also got to think that the baby may hit every floor on the way down.
Yeah. And honestly, I would make sure...
That's a risk I'm willing to take. I can't climb.
Yeah. Because all right, so it's like this for me, right? Let's translate this to water, right? It's a known fact that I don't know how to swim.
Go with it.
Right? So... If I saw
Cleat ain't jumping in.
But same thing with me. If I saw someone drowning, instantly 2 people are dead. Right? Because I'm going to dive in and I'm dead because I can't swim. And I'm probably going to pull them down.
So you would dive in?
No. If I saw someone drowning, no, I can't do. I know physically that I can't do it.
Gonna pray for him. Keep the fire off your neck.
But I think that there would be like if I saw someone dangling, I may try to go up one, and if I feel like it's too difficult, I'm gonna stay right down. I'll catch. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it is definitely situational. Dangling up top, and it depends on how high. Like if I feel like okay, I can grab onto that, I'll do it. But there's not going to be no. I'm gonna put one hand up here, and I'm just gonna pull myself up with my own will with one hand. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. See, and that's where I'm at with it. I think it's if I can look at the situation, this is what Diddy Rose was saying.
His name is Brian. He said it so many times on this show.
Oh my God! But this guy over here was saying it's situational. So if it's a situation where I feel like I have the athletic ability or I have an opportunity to, it might be dangerous.
You're not going to be that athletic.
Get
out of here, buddy.
Jeez.
Wow. Those days are long gone, buddy.
Jeez.
But yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah, man. But that's exactly what the guy did. And, of course, you said the Spider-Man rescue. That's what they labeled it as. It was Malaysian refugee. What was he in? France. Yeah, he was a Malaysian refugee. Saw the situation happening, and for me, I would have ran inside and tried to go to the third floor on the elevator, and then try to bust through that particular room or alert them to let them know to open up the room and see if I can grab the child from the third floor. But this guy took it upon himself to scale the building from the outside. Yeah.
That's what
he
I'm
can do
saying.
it.
It's
but
like,
the thing is, even though you can do it, it takes a special type of person to be willing to put their life on the line for a stranger.
Right, I agree.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
I think in my opinion, I think his confidence was more in his ability to do it. So it was like, I could save this person because I can get to him. Like if I'm like Michael Phelps, I'm like, I could swim with my eyes closed. Well, you swim with your eyes closed, but
What did your eyes have to do with swimming, dog? It's a good point, though, man.
What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it was a stupid point, but good point, dog. Yeah, good point, dog. Real stupid, but good point, dog.
If I could swim with ease, then I'm like, let me go save this person. They could be way out there. Everybody else would be afraid to do it. It's like, I could do this. I think, like those people, what is it, parkour? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the parkour people.
Yeah, right.
Hopping from
so
building
if
to
he's
building.
one of those kind of cats, he's gonna be like, okay, this ain't fear to me. It's fear to everybody else. So I'm just saying. I think that's where he was coming from. He was like, because to your point, he could have went inside, went to the floor beneath him, and just went up and got it. But he's like, I'm a parkour kind of guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Boom, 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 boom.
Hey, man, right place, right time.
Yeah.
Because if he would have been one of us,
we
just been a whole different news story. Like,
dang, that's messed up.
Like, man, I wish the fire department would have got here faster. That's a bad deal.
Yeah.
But man. Anybody had any chance, any time, should I say, to get any these new shows that's coming out? Anything on Netflix that you've been watching, Amazon? Personally, I don't really have a whole lot of time to watch TV, but usually when I do get an hour or so, I typically try to watch. I like documentaries. Mm-hmm. If I'm not watching a sporting event, I like to watch documentaries. Just kind of just covering history or covering what's going on today or medical documentaries and things of that nature.
I watched G-Funk documentary.
G-Funk? No, I haven't seen that at all, man.
Yeah, it was actually good because Warren G. I forgot how big Warren
it's
G.
It's the G-Funk era, funk dump with a gangster twist.
I forgot how big he got. Like he
was the man, man.
And a story, man. It's like he got when them boys went over to Death Row. He's the only one that didn't get a deal. He was rolling with them every day, helping them make beats. Don't
tell the whole documentary, man.
Bro, he asked you what you was watching. Go ahead, bro.
I'm just saying, what were you watching? You better get a whole thing.
Answer it the way I want you to answer it.
Hey, I want to know.
Ryan just want to know because he ain't gonna watch it.
No, it's good, man. It was good, but it was the whole point of it is these guys, him being Warren G. Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg, they actually made a sound that wasn't out.
Yeah,
and it still influences music now. Yeah, so
that was really. Well, I got a couple of shows, man, that I want to see if y'all have actually ever seen any of these because they are actually. I mean, Netflix is doing its thing, And I can't even get upset with them, man. Have y'all happened to see? I'm not even going to discuss all of them, but I'm going to just tell you some of the titles. Have you seen this documentary called I Am a Killer?
Heck no.
Nope.
I heard about it.
I would advise you to watch it, man. It's slow. It's not, it's not, it's not.
Nah, you're not talking about that one.
Oh,
No. It's a new documentary that came out recently. It's really good, man.
It's like a brother or something.
No. It's just documenting guys that are in. They're following guys that are in prison, that are on death row for the crimes that they committed.
Yeah.
And it just gives you an in-depth look at the mind of some of those people, and that was really good. What about The Bleeding Edge?
Man,
Nope.
what's that?
Man, it's another one. I'm telling y'all.
It's a series.
No, The Bleeding Edge is a documentary.
It's a documentary.
It is about the atrocities of the medical industry and the way that products get approved through FDA, and even though they've had no testing of any humans, like one of the first stories on there is it's a birth control that it's not a pill, it's something that they put up inside of a woman, and it's like, man, that thing, oh man, it's not, I don't even think it's that, it's some like new technical thing that they did, but it's a good documentary, man, because it goes from that to hip replacements and talking about how they were giving people cobalt hip replacements that ended up just basically liquefying the insides of people's hip. Man, it's good, man. I'm telling y'all. I highly recommend it if you just got some time to sit down.
Bleeding Edge.
Yeah, The Bleeding Edge. It's on Netflix. And also, has anybody seen Who is America with Sacha Baron Cohen?
I've seen some snippets.
I've seen snippets.
This is one of the greatest shows I have ever seen. That is also the saddest show I have ever seen.
This will be the biggest, most grand mosque.
Dude,
man.
the town, man, the way he gets people to react in their natural manner, and he's one of the greatest actors. I have to give him one of the greatest actors hands down, because he does these crazy stunts, and he does it with a straight face. No, he does it with a straight face. He's got representatives that are state representatives on there just shouting the N-word, taking their pants down, talking about that's the way you deal with terrorists, is you pull your pants down and tell them you're going to make them gay. I mean, no, it is so funny, man. And it's just, again, that's another one that I highly recommend.
Who is America?
It's on Netflix?
No, that one's on HBO.
Okay.
And it's called not HBO, Showtime.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sorry. But it's called Who is America, man, with Sacha Baron Cohen. And he plays like these 4 different characters. And he was Borat, and he was Bruno.
And the dictator.
And the dictator. It's just like you look at it and be like, there's no way anybody can be fooled by this guy anymore, because you've seen the characters that he's played, all the way from Ali G.
Yeah.
When he used to do the Ali G show.
On HBO.
Yeah, so it's like, come on, man. But the way it's happening and the way it goes, as far as the way he gets people to just do the strangest things that you could ever think of, he gets people to do. The final one that I wanted, that I highly recommend, and if you haven't seen this, I implore you to go watch it, get an opinion on it, and enjoy it, because it is definitely something that it's going to inflict an emotion out of you one way or another. Either it's going to be good or it's going to be bad, and it may even be both. And I remember when I first brought this up, I told all the guys to go watch it, because I wanted.
Bro, I'm not watching the NFL. I've told you that already. I'm not watching the NFL.
It's not the NFL, man. We understand that you understand against.
Okay,
the
go
NFL.
ahead. My bad. That's what I thought you were going.
I understand, man. I appreciate it. We know you are against the NFL right now. But I remember when I told everybody to go watch it, because it was something that we were going to discuss. And the thing that stood out the most to me was one of our most opinionated personalities on the show. Everybody knows G-Dub always comes with an opinion that's from left field, and it's just, that's the way he thinks.
Correct term is right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, from the right.
Use your correct political directional references here.
But G-Dub, he called me. He was like, "Look, I can't talk about this. I can't talk about it, man, because it just I don't even know what to think about it. I don't even have a suggestion. I don't even have a conclusion. I don't even know what to think. So y'all, I'm gonna just have to stay quiet."
I'll think on his behalf. He said this was race bait. He said it was classic race baiting.
But the documentary that I'm talking about is called The Rachel Divide.
Oh, glory.
And this particular documentary, it documents a woman's life who feels that she is a black woman, but she was born white, and it goes along with society as a whole right now, where people can say that I identify as a woman, I identify as a man. So, her argument is that, well, I identify as a black woman. So I'm just going to toss it around with the fellas and just kind of my first one, before we get too deep into it, how did it make you feel watching the documentary? What was your initial thought outside of G-Dub's confusion and anger and sadness and everything that he was feeling? Like, what was the initial feeling that you got from the documentary?
Oh, go ahead.
No. I'm deferring. Go ahead.
I'll go because I know you guys will get into it. You got left and right here. So I'm just somewhere in the middle all the time. So for me, it definitely causes mixed feelings about the whole situation. Because on one end, you're like, this lady's crazy. What the heck are you? Like, you can't relate. How dare you? It's disrespectful to black women, so on and so forth. But on the other end, the passion that she has and the things that she was actually able to get done, it makes you scratch your head. You're like, man, like, yo, if she ain't against us, she's for us, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And like this lady was legit making change in that era, and she was on a roll to I think do far greater than she was able to do before this whole thing broke. So, and then just, now that I'm even talking about it, just like, this white dude gonna catch her, and it's like, was it about catching her or was it about stopping her progress? Like, you know what I mean? So it's a lot to it.
It's a good question, man.
It's a lot to it. It's like, oh, why do you care about this so much? You know what I mean? Yeah. She's making moves in the black community. Now you got to out her. It's like, okay, what is that supposed to prove? But at the end of the day, my thoughts are, hey, she ain't messing with nobody, and she making our community better. I'm cool with her. But on the same note, she man, she got some mental issues, Doc.
Hold on, Bert, why are you trying to censor this man?
He is sensitive.
I wasn't trying to censor you.
I wasn't censoring him, man.
He's trying to censor this man.
He's like, we got sponsors.
Oh man!
Go ahead, Diderot, man. Tell me what your thoughts was. What was your initial feeling, man?
My initial feeling, I just wanted to hear what.
No, I shall not be baited.
For me, you can look at the documentary through two lenses. One, a very superficial lens, and just look at it from the perspective that I believe the director was trying to portray, which I'm still kind of uncertain as to what that was. Or you can look at it through, a very deeply psychological prism, because there are layers upon layers upon layers that go in this documentary. You can look at the relationship between the progress of the black community led by a quote unquote white person. You can look at the element of race and how the label of race predicated really how these events unfolded. You can look at what is race. how relevant is race? How did we come to race in America?
Right.
You could look at the passiveness of, or the passivity of white America and the complicitness of black America. You could look at a lot of the scars that African Americans still have in dealing with help or the solicitation of help from white Americans. You can look at the betrayal that blacks felt when they found out that she was white. So I think, you can just, it's just so much that's in it. I think we do a great disservice, kind of just to speak at it at a superficial level, without really getting into specifics. Because there are a lot of parts of it that I gleaned, certain things from, like the discrediting of her two half siblings who were Haitian immigrants. That's another element. You can look at the what the purported savior mentality of you have these Midwestern whites who are adopting or fostering Haitian kids. It's just so complex.
Yeah,
and it's a lot. We'd love to certainly have greater dialogue about the specifics of it.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely.
Touch
into it a little bit more.
It's just a lot. Stop cutting me off, but yeah, it's a lot.
I
won't be censored.
Yeah, it out, man. You know what I'm saying?
You're trying to censor people.
Golly, bro. Oh, man.
Fools, man.
Man, the Rachel divide did exactly what the title states. It divided. It is dividing. I think that, like Brian said, there's just so many complexities, so many different aspects of the relationship that you could look at. But two things that stood out to me more than anything is that, number one, race is a social construct, which was difficult for me to internalize and accept, but it is true. Second thing is that we want, one of the cries of the black community is for people who are white to utilize their white privilege to help African Americans achieve equality, right? Not equal rights, but equality, equal opportunity to the things that we should have. I mean, we came to this country, and as Brian has said so many times, we were told to come up by our bootstraps, but we didn't have any boots. We weren't given any boots. So there was no economic help. A lot of people in the African American community, we want reparations, which would mean around between $200,000 and $400,000 for each black person because of slavery, right? So that we're hoping for that. We want to have the opportunity to build a culture and to build a generation, just like other cultures who have come to America have. However, when this person used her whiteness to push forward the agenda of the black community, she was not only stopped by white people, striving, to stop the progression that she was having, she was ostracized and just completely demonized by black people. Just completely throwing her through the mud to say, you don't understand my experience, so you need to be quiet. Which, on the surface level, is true. She is not black. She does not own the black experience. She does not fully understand. I was having a conversation about Cleet the other day about this. White people will never understand racism. Ever. There is no way in the world that they can understand something when they are the majority. And they can't even understand what we feel because they'll never be in that position. Right? So for us to try to explain and look at us. You should see us this way. It's like explaining to someone who's never been to Asia what to do when you get to Asia. I've never been. I don't get it. Right? It just doesn't make it. It does not compute.
No reference points.
Exactly. So I applaud black white people like Anne Hathaway just went off about the young lady that was killed or targeted and killed by a white dude in California. Well, Nia Long, what's her name? Nia Long? Yeah. So it's like I appreciate them because she understands that there is a difference that I can't understand, but I still need to do something about it.
Right.
And I think that that's what the understanding needs to be. And when you have people who are doing, they won't understand. Let's not ever try to make them understand, but let's make sure that it clicks to them that there is a discrepancy. You won't feel that discrepancy, but acknowledge the discrepancy, and let's see what you can do to help. And that's what this lady was doing. She acknowledged, okay, there is a discrepancy, so much so that I don't even want to be associated with these people over here no more. So I'm going to be associated with here. And guess what? I may look white and I may get in certain places because I look white, but guess what I'm doing when I'm there? She had been to more congressional hearings. She had been to more state hearings. Didn't half the people complaining about her. And she was pushing the agenda that we were supposed to be pushing, but we're sitting there ostracizing her and talking about her as opposed to going in her place. Or even saying, look, you shoot. It's like I got a homeboy that's trying to get me into the club, and I get into the club because of him. Right? I'm not going to be upset. I'm in the club. Right. Like, but for whatever reason, the backlash that she faced, the backlash that her children faced, it's just it's just utterly ridiculous, and it's ugly because it reflects poorly. Now, don't get me wrong. This lady's got some issues that she needs to address and she needs to deal with. I am not advocating her. She is causing some issues for her children that she needs to ask herself the question: is it the cause or is it my children? Right? Do I need to focus on? But I'm not going to negate what her work has done. Right? Not going to negate what she has tried to do, the agenda that she has tried to push, the enlightenment that she has tried to bring about. Like, that's just, I can't ignore that. And the fact that she's doing it and we still, we're kicking her through the ground, I think reflects extremely poorly on what we want as a community. Like, what do we truly want? I mentioned this before. If anyone's seen the Hunger Games, the great thing about the Hunger Games, you had a group who won the war, a group that lost the war. A group that won the war oppressed the group that lost the war. Well, the group that lost the war decided to rise up again, and they were able to overtake the group that won the war because they made them have this gladiator type games every year to commemorate the anniversary of them trying to do the uprising or whatever. So the oppressed group finally became the oppressive group. And when they came to the oppressive group, they didn't say, okay, well, everyone's just going to live a life of their choice. One of the first agendas of that leader of that time was, we're going to host a Hunger Games for them now. And I think a lot of times that's what we want as black people. We want to become the oppressor. We don't want equality. We want to be on top. We want to make white people slaves. We want you to feel what we felt. And it's like, that shouldn't be. That should be the job.
Again, that was the major appeal of King. He often said, you don't supplant the oppressor and become the oppressor. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing he was always big with. But I'm going to go on record. I'm a Rachel Dolezal fan.
Big fan.
I'm a fan, but at the same time, I can sympathize with where African Americans have frustration. We want you to use your white privilege, not operate under the mask of being an African American.
Yeah.
So had you done those things, fully accepting the fact that, hey, I'm white, I'm doing this, and hey, I'm doing this as a white lady on behalf of African Americans, on behalf of an underrepresented, underserved, undervalued community. Terrific. So I think that's really where the frustration came in operating under the guise of being
I want
black.
you to save that. Don't get off track. I have a question with that. Do you think, and I'll ask the group the same thing, do you believe that if she came to everyone as a white woman discussing the plight of black people, do you think she would have been heard?
Nope. She wouldn't have got that far.
And that is my main question, because she became the president of the NAACP because they thought that she was black. And I have a whole different question about that. Because like one question before I get too far is what is their
background check?
Yeah, what is their process of getting in? I mean, a simple license check.
Bro, they in the Northwest, man. They almost in Alaska, bro.
That was one. I was like, wait a minute. What is your process of initiation? What did you have? You didn't get no papers. You didn't Google search this lady. But
this is my thought on that.
What would that thought be?
Y'all remember a couple months ago, Kim Kardashian went to Trump to try to get his grandmother had
63-year-old lady
right,
or whatever for the cocaine conviction.
Right. Mm-hmm. The lady got out. And what did we do to Kim Kardashian? Why are you trying to act black? You already try to, you're getting your enhancements and stuff like that to try to look black. You're not black. What did she do? She used her white skin tone, her popularity to get in front of Trump and get what we wanted done. That's something that we wanted, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone's going to talk about, I want it done in the right way. I want it done by my methods, right? But the reality is we need to understand that in order to push this agenda forward, just like to get Barack elected when we did, we need white people's help, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just something that we go. I see more people saying we miss you, Barack, that are white than are black. Now, don't get me wrong. Barack could have did more for the African American community. However, the fact that he was in that house alone did miles and miles than any other president before him.
Right.
So I don't care what anyone else says. He's the most, most pro-black president. Lord Jesus, help us. But he did it just because he took that office, right? Mm-hmm. Showed us what the possibilities were, right? Pushed the envelope. So because of that, we need to understand that this is not just going to be something that we shall overcome by ourselves. We shall overcome with the people who want to help us, right? There were at the what was it, Charlottesville? With the white rally, there was a lot of white people who were like, are you crazy? What is wrong with you? And it wasn't just us. So we need to understand that these are people that we're going to link arms with to push forward the agenda that we want, which is, again, equal opportunity. Right. We just want, stop looking at me like I'm black and putting me in this lesser category. That's not the case. That's not what we want. Give us the opportunity to get the same jobs. Give us the opportunity to go to the same institutions. Right. Give us the opportunity to be looked at in the same light. And again, like Dr. King said, judge us by the content of our character, not by the color of our skin. Right? So allow us to be able to do that. And in order to do that, we're going to need their help. Yeah. So Kim Kardashian, go to Trump as many times as you want to. You know what I mean? If you're going to push the agenda.
Yeah, I think for her to be effective, to answer the question, I think no, it wouldn't have worked out. But if she would have taken that approach, she would have had to tell stories of black people. So what I'm saying, let's say, you get what I'm saying?
So you're saying that basically she would have had to,
instead of trying to make it like it's her own.
Yeah, she would have had to take
experience.
Someone else's account.
And every time she would use a different example of them, and I think that would get the black people to say, "Wow, she really cares about." Because look at it, she's giving all of these different people platforms and stories. I think that's one effective way to use the white privilege to push to push for equality or equal rights. So
back to your point, B. Finish it up.
To answer your question, would she have been heard? I absolutely believe so. Reason being, if you go back to the formation of the NAACP, African Americans were not the only founders of the NAACP. If you look at, I believe, the succession of presidents, there were some white Jews or you call them white Jewish. I know that's kind of another complex topic.
Very.
But we've had presidents who were non-African Americans. So to operate under this premise that the NAACP has to somehow be this exclusive African American only organization is flawed and it's doomed for failure. Being the minority in the country, if we hope to bring ourselves to a place of equality and a place of equity out of our own volition, then we have a flawed expectation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't control the majority of the resources. We don't control the majority of political offices. We don't control the majority of political offices, even at a state level and a local level. So it takes partnership. Partnership is key.
Right.
And you're not diminished by partnering with somebody who has the same goal. Mm-hmm. So that's first. And, I think we have a tendency to elevate the wrong voices. Like, I didn't come out speaking against Kim Kardashian for freeing the woman, because if that was me, I don't care who come talk to the president.
There we
go.
It could have been David Duke.
It's all about results.
Yeah.
Because I'd want to get from up out of there. And so the end justifies the means. Hey, if it took Kim Kardashian, hey, go. If our dumb president will listen to you, hey, well, let's educate you and you go speak on behalf of everyone else. The person who will be listened to, that's who I want to send.
Yep.
So I have no issues with Kim Kardashian. Again, I think as a society, we choose to elevate the wrong voices. But my thing, hey, thanks a lot, Kim Kardashian. Hey, kudos to you, and I'm pretty sure this lady feels the same way. You can look at, well, he only listened to her because she was a celebrity X, Y, or Z, and a lot of those may be true. But again, if we see that's a method that works, then hey, you utilize that methodology to get the desired result. And it's complex in dealing with a president who has this lack of maturity and this lack of intelligence,
sensitivity.
Yeah, who's hypersensitive, and the list goes on. But again, it took a Kim Kardashian, and so if we can get a Kim Kardashian to go on and advocate for other rights, and he will actually listen, and she can speak intelligently and articulately, then I mean,
why not?
I could care less.
Yeah. I think when it boils down to it, the biggest issue people have with her is that unwritten rule. I mean, all of us here, we grew up with or knew somebody that was in our community that was white, that act black.
That was one of my points, man.
Right?
Every one of us, we all know is either white Bobby, white Mike.
Yeah.
And
the females, you had a female that was like a white female that act black,
and,
right?
Yeah, and then we accepted them with no problem, though.
With no problem. But here was the unwritten rule. They never would. They would say it to their friend, but they didn't go out and
They wouldn't use it publicly, but with us, it'd be like,
you see what I mean?
They'd be like, oh, that's my blank.
I think she just crossed. She crossed too far over with that. Like it was like, okay, you act black, you identify with us. She our sister. If she would have just been like, I'm white, but I love my black people. I feel like I'm black, and just kind of said it like that. This chick literally believes she's black. And that's where people have issues. They're like, no, you're losing your mind.
I don't think she believed that she was black, because when they asked her questions in interviews, she would say things like race is a social construct, right?
Which is true.
So she knew she was white. No.
I know that from that, but I'm saying like she's defined. She's took on the definition, and she's like, that's it. I'm black.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the same
that's
argument.
Where people are like, yo, wait a minute.
But if we're going to call her crazy mentally, then we're going to have to call every single person who was like transgender crazy, right? And society doesn't call.
We ain't getting in there.
But seriously,
that's very true.
The society does not call them crazy. Nope. Society says, look, you can choose.
The same mentality.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. And I'm not saying what she just did is wrong. What I am saying is that's what the black people, majority of black people, who aren't just coming at it from an ignorant standpoint, like don't know about the situation, just heard about it and say, she's crazy.
Right.
But people who actually sat down and thought about this, that was probably the issue they had. It was like, okay, it's all right that you want to help us and everything, but like you can't just put this on you because you want to. And that was because this thing that you're putting on you is an experience that we had that we didn't want and we lived it. So you don't get a chance to put it on you just because it's the thing you want.
That's a good point.
We lived this.
It's interesting because, like Al said, we all had friends who were growing up who I know I have friends. You ask them, "Hey, are you white?" They were like, "Nah." They say it straight to your face. No, I won't say his name, but dude,
but like you said, man, we all have that,
and
whether
it was like
on a football team or whether it was in the neighborhood, because whether we want to accept it or not, there are white families in predominantly black neighborhoods, and that particular family, in most cases, they grow up with what's quote unquote, which I still don't really know the true definition of, but they quote unquote grow up as black kids.
And it's funny that you say that, because the social construct of race even goes further, because it's not that they're acting black, right? So acting a color isn't what we're doing. It's a culture.
Acting culture,
right? So if it's a culture, it's literally like anyone can be a part of this culture. This is why so many people...
This is what she's opening up, right? Which is a great...
That's why it's a great conversation.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this is more cultural than it is racial. So I'm all for the openness of it, because then it starts to help some of these black kids who grow up in white neighborhoods, and they're ostracized as well. Like,
they
Oreo,
get clown.
Right. You get clown, right? And it's like, yo, if you grew up around these people, that's who you are. You can't be, your parents grew, that's who you grew up around.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So I get that. I grew up around a lot of those as well in school.
Because we tried black people who we thought were nerds, and it's like, Oh, you only hang out with white people? Oh, you know.
No, I got
it was
classes with them. Sorry.
It's like, I go to school. What do you want me to do?
Because I don't talk slang. You guys automatically think I'm a nerd.
So that conversation. She opens up this conversation that makes it more about race and more about culture, which is great. Yeah. But once again, I think when you get in front of a lie detector, when you get to like when everything's against the wall, you know, all odds are against you, and you're like, no, I'm black. It's like, all right,
she didn't say that.
She always said I identify.
Yes,
as
she never said
black.
I am black. That's why I know she's not crazy, because it's like I'm not. She can't say with on a lie detector I am black. She says I identify. Race is a social construct. She always goes to the same narrative because look at her parents. I mean, she's as white as they come, you know, genetically, but she doesn't want to identify with that. And I think that even rap culture, like Eminem, right? We have this whole N-word controversy now. White people, you can't say it. Eminem has been rapping the N-word since.
When did he say N-word?
Yeah, I don't know if he ever.
He's never said N-word in any of his songs. Go check it,
bro. I will go and check.
Go ahead, go find it. Go find one lyric when he says N-word.
I
haven't heard him ever say.
I don't know if Eminem have, but we need to go back and what was the white dude out of Houston?
Paul Wall.
Paul Wall. Has Paul Wall ever
Paul
said?
Wall probably said it. I thought he was light skinned.
Paul Wall, he's old to me.
He's light skinned, bro. He's light skinned.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, but we culturally accept
said
that.
The N-word.
Either way, if he did, we would culturally accept it.
Yes, we would.
We would, yeah.
And we would rap every lyric.
Yeah.
Right. My thing, I love the fact that she started this dialogue. The reason that this is the reason it's so sensitive is because we still haven't addressed the primary issue, and that is that the United States, and you could say a byproduct of capitalism, that made race a stigma. It made being black a stigma.
Yeah.
So
associated with
wait a minute. You want to identify as being black? No. So you made my pigmentation. So when you look at my pigmentation, immediately there's an assignment given to me of a lesser class, a lesser breed of a human being, a more ignorant human being. You made that associated with this culture. And so now it's indignation. Wait a minute. You want to identify with being black? So that's really the indignation, that a person has the gall, the audacity. Yeah. You have this privilege of being white and you want to say you're black?
Yeah. Why would you?
Exactly. Why?
What is wrong with you?
You know, and I stand behind her 100%.
Who are these people?
Because it makes us confront the truth that your race is assigned by your pigmentation.
Yeah.
If it was not, I would be mixed.
Right.
I got a lineage of whites all through my lineage.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Every black person outside of, you coming straight from Nigeria or something, you got a white master in your family.
Exactly. But we're not identified as white.
Exactly.
Because of our pigmentation of our skin, we're identified as black. So it doesn't matter your genealogy. It matters what the pigmentation of your skin is. And I believe that's the one of the primary reasons why this conversation, is so sensitive and is receiving such such attention as opposed to the gender conversation. Just like Wayne was saying, now I can choose to be male, I can choose to be female. Down. I know even at my place of employment, we just had something come out. Hey, put your pronouns up. Do you want to be called him, her? What is it? He, his, him, or her, she, and some other thing.
Yeah.
They didn't ask me if I want to choose to be black, white, or Asian. It was you are what you look like.
Yep. That's it.
But she's opening this conversation though.
Yeah.
She's opening this conversation.
But man, you hit on a key point. One of the parts of the documentary that I enjoyed when you were saying that it's an experience and you just can't say you are without experiencing. It was when she was at that college I believe in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's what I'm touching
and to
on,
me, I felt those black women's. I felt their pains. They were like, "Look, you don't know what it's like to have to grow up being constantly told that you are not the picture of beauty. That your hair is not." Yeah, I'm like, yo, that's real life. You trying to get your hair straight, looking like everything you seeing on TV. You can't experience that.
Yeah.
Now, to me, what got me with Rachel was her response. yo, she was so dismissive.
Yes.
Like, oh, I've heard this before. Oh my God, can't you just get over it? No, they can't get over it because this impacted them from the time they were kids to even right now.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, when these people are telling you this, sit your behind down and listen.
Yeah.
If you want to accept this is what you got to listen to because this is what they've gone through.
It's the equivalent of Kim Kardashian growing up the way she grew up, and then you get to a certain age, you're like, I'm black because it's cool, it's in. It's disrespectful, and that's what they felt. It's like, you didn't grow up with these issues in your heart. Like, you didn't have to overcome these, and now you get to put on because it's progressive now? No.
Yeah, so I think she has to listen to him. Take that to heart. You got it. That's the first thing, man. You got to be open to listening. I mean, if I'm drowning, I don't need somebody who's almost drowned before to come save me. I want whoever is available to come save me.
Yeah.
Like, well, you ain't been through drowning, so you can't save me. No, somebody help me. So the same goes in here. You ain't got to be black to talk about the black experience. Yeah. If you've listened, if you've learned, if you've sat down and you've been contrite and heard the plight, you can be like, hey, even though I didn't experience it, from a humanity standpoint, from a solidarity standpoint, I can speak on this. Because no human being should have to go through that. No human being should have to heartbeat has to go 160 miles an hour just because they see a cop pulling a U-turn on them down the street, which mine does frequently.
Mine
got good license, ain't never been arrested. But man, when they pull a U, make sure my seatbelt on. Start looking for. All right, here they come.
They don't even have to do a U. They just got to change over into my lane. We could be at a turning signal. I'm like, what? Oh man, here we go again.
And that's reality,
dog. I can't drink nothing. My throat just. Hey man, truth, man. That's real talk, man.
That's why I said she can tell other people's stories.
Yeah,
that's an avenue to
and like y'all both were explaining, man. If she just, I think she's got a conflict that she has to deal with within herself where I think she wants the notoriety and she also wants to help, but she doesn't know how to combine the two. Yeah. Because at this stage, now that everything's out, she could have easily went in and did some interviews and said, hey, I apologize for, whatever I did to hurt the community. My intentions were always good. Yes, I identify as black. No, I don't know your experience. And like Ryan was saying, listen to what their experiences are and empathize with them. Even if she didn't actually understand everything at that moment, if she would have showed empathy when the young ladies were speaking to her, I think, or whenever she did interviews. And because even when they were asking her questions about, do you feel sorry about what you? Well, I don't apologize for the way I am and who I am. And it's like, okay, that's not what the question is. Well, you lied to America.
But unfortunately, I believe it became a monetary thing. You notice she dropped the book at the end of the documentary, and now it becomes I'm pushing this agenda of racial.
Transracial something. She said.
See, I think that happened as a result of her movement, though.
But that's my point.
You had no other way to. She couldn't get a job.
She couldn't get a job nowhere.
Yeah,
that's nowhere. So it's like now it's become a monetary thing. It's like I got a book out now. I'm the face
but it's almost
of
a necessity,
trans.
though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not knocking her for it.
No, I'm saying at this stage, even though I think I agree with you as far as the monetary side of it, but at this stage, it's basically a necessity now because she's ostracized. Pretty much anyway. She's changed her name now, but what was dumb to me was you changed your name, but you put your name change in the documentary. So everyone knows your name changed. So it was like that. That's why I was saying like she has a conflict with the notoriety because if you really wanted to escape, the media and what's hurting your children and you want your children to come up and have a normal life, like that was some of the cries that she had. Why would you put something that's you're trying to eliminate a part of your life, but you also bring your new life into that same in the same fold?
Yeah,
because most people ain't. I mean, there's gonna be a great number of people who are not even gonna watch the documentary, so they won't know that. But
the story, man. But you know the story. I mean, if you.
But this is all. But to your point, she has to. She has to. This is how she makes her money now, and she has to push this agenda. This is why she can't completely. Identify with those women because she's like, I got to keep pushing this. I'm way left field now. So yeah, I know your experience. But
almost,
I'm pushing like forget all that. Yo, it's
almost
just,
a WWE heel. You know, the bad guy, and he's like, this isn't really who I am, but I got to keep pushing this. You know, to make y'all, because you know, as they say in show business, you know, all press is good press.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know,
hate
man.
me, then I'm gonna just make you hate me more. So, and I don't think that's her intention. But the reality is, you know, like y'all said, she got ostracized. She got to make a living. So I got to keep. And it is a new thing. I mean, she will get. She will go down in history as a person to push this racial.
I don't know what that.
Whatever
I don't know what
she
it is.
said, it's a better way
or something.
Yeah, but
That's what she said. Yeah.
it's a new thing. You know,
It's
And-
transracial.
Yeah,
transracial, and it's a thing.
And again, it just goes back down to what she's saying from the very beginning. Race is a social construct.
Which it is.
Like
it was created. I mean, you even go down. I think in this documentary they broke down the history of how the colonial the people who were over slavery, they created this. They created this whole the race thing, like, because the only other country that's really dominant for that is Australia, right? That have
The Aborigines.
Yeah, it happens in Australia. Also happens a lot in the UK as well.
Yeah. We
Well, European
took slavery
descendants,
from the European empire, so to speak. But
so there was already. I thought it was.
so on the race thing, we didn't come to America because we were black. We came to America because capitalism needed laborers.
Oh,
Yeah.
because
They
we
needed
were-
workers.
We had strong back.
Period. They needed laborers. So once we came here, now all of a sudden you have to have a system where which you can justify the treatment of these people this way.
Correct.
And now, and as the society progresses, as your economy enlarges, there's a hierarchy because wealth typically is concentrated. And so if you have this concentration of wealth in plantation owners, but then again, UK didn't send all their best citizens over here. It wasn't like the royal family of UK was like, hey, let's go over here. Let's take this boat that we might die on. We got all this money over here. We're going to go over this place called America. No.
Criminals.
They sent some of everybody over here.
shared the wealth.
So exactly. So what do you do with this class of people who don't have money and really are a step above indentured servitude themselves? How can you stop these people from joining in with these brothers? And all of a sudden, you got the majority in this quote unquote democracy. How do you do that? You construct race. Wait a minute. Even though you ain't got no money, you ain't black. And there are advantages for not being black.
Oh yeah.
And and so that's where some of the construct came. Now, as far as Dolezal, I forget what her new name is, but
Yeah, Kichi or something like that.
yeah, she I'm disappointed at our people. I'm disappointed because we failed to embrace her and support her. We don't need perfect people because none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
What this lady did was stand up. She had concerted efforts and to better our community. And when we quote unquote found out she wasn't black, so what? She lied because she was trying to further her agenda. She believed that she could better serve us and to better help us by identifying this way.
That was my point.
You can say, hey, you know what? You should have been truthful. Oh, well, you know what? We all make mistakes.
Think about how many people we forgive for lying.
Exactly. We forgive everybody, but our own selves. We're always the hardest on our own self. I noticed this at an early age. I noticed the hypocrisy of African Americans. I grew up watching Showtime at the Apollo. Brothers get on stage. Boy, they call out the clown in a minute. Boo, boo, boo.
Yes.
Boy, you let a white person get on stage at the Apollo.
They got a little
they
bit
be
of voice.
horrible. Yeah, come on, baby. Y'all go ahead. Yeah, bless they heart. Yeah, come on.
Oh,
like,
man. Yeah.
Where is that mentality of having that same type of compassion for our own people? But again, that was ingrained through
Yes, sir.
through slavery. That's ingrained.
And it starts at home too.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean?
ingrained, man. I mean, it's like you said, for generations upon generations, you're gonna always, I don't know, man. For in our culture, we always feel like we got to be better than the next guy, and the next guy is usually somebody has the same skin tone as you.
So-
and instead of helping each other, we always want to. We really exemplify the crabs in a bucket mentality. It's like, okay, I see this guy, he on his way. I mean, it's just think about the hood, the quote unquote hood or the quote unquote ghettos that most black people have, tried to fight their way out of. In most cases, the people that they're fighting the most
themselves
are the people that they're trying to help.
Yeah.
Now don't get me wrong. Now there is a societal fight that they have to fight in order to get out, but you have to overcome so much in your own neighborhood to achieve the goals that that you've set for yourself, and it's disappointing, man.
So you want to hear something crazy? I don't think that, not 100% at least, maybe about 50%, that the systemic oppression that African Americans have faced for centuries is 100% the reason for why we compete with one another. I think it's that combined with the capitalist
I was
nature.
Gonna have to cut you off in a minute, man. I thought you was going to go in a different direction, dog. I was going to swing on you.
I think it's that combined with our capitalistic society, government.
Money.
That's it. It's like, in order for me to advance, we have the pie mentality. Everyone has it. Not just black people, not white people, Hispanic people. Yeah. Everybody's got the pie. Now, certain groups, certain organizations realize, look, there's more than just this pie, but we got to, do it together to get out and go do these things. But most societies, and I see this a lot with the quote unquote poor white trash mentality, right? So you got these elite Ivy League white people, and then you got the poor white trash white people, right? And the elite Ivy League white people, they look at black people the same way as they do poor white trash people. It's like, oh, you can't. You can't, man, bro. You don't belong. Whoa! I don't care.
Whoa. Why are you in this country club?
And that's due to capitalism, right? Saying that I make money because you're poor, right? So of course it trickles down into our communities where it's like, look, everybody can't be poor. I'll be the one that get out there, but y'all still need to be poor. You can't be with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get up here, so you need to stay down there. So that's why I try to, I go get the new fresh J's, and I'm like, oh, you got those new fresh J's? That's fine. I'm gonna go get the next J's that just came out, and it's like, no, I got to be one step above you. For what? Right? We could you live in the transition place for the ghetto, and I live in the ghetto. Like, we all live in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? This is the ghetto. This is the bottom of where we want to be. So
right.
I think the mindset has to be twofold. Number one, education to say, hey guys, there's no pie, right? We live in a place where resources can be unlimited, and your opportunity to access those resources can come through your phones nowadays. Like, kids in hoods have smart devices where you can, all the information you need is right here, right? So I commend, I know we're not talking about this, I commend LeBron James for going and providing that resource in the community to really show people in a inner city community, the world is bigger, right? Like, the world is bigger, and if I can just get you to dream big, you're going to go beyond this. But the problem has been, like you said, out, crabs in a barrel, and it's like, okay, we all here. This is my height, my ceiling is getting out into the suburbs of Akron, when it's like, no, there's a world, right? And we also, from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, man, I know people that never been out of Florida their entire life. Just never been outside of Florida. Like, outside of Florida. Not even outside the country. Outside of Florida. Because they think Miami is the greatest place in the world. And it's like, okay, no. Let's go beyond just a little bit. Let me show you these places. Let me show you these things so that we can expand your thinking. And then when you can expand your thinking, you can go do whatever you want to. But that's, I think, the charge that we have to have as people who know more, is to be able to show that more things are possible. And like Cleet said, it starts at home. Really showing your family that we can do more before we start going out into the greater masses.
No, I think one thing that we have to be sensitive of is to what we present to our family and how we present it. Because one of the things that, especially Wayne was just hitting on was, and Cleet as well, was talking about the ascension that we are aspiring to. So, we're trying to get out the hood, or, we're trying to become better. That can look several different ways, and one of the ways, it's almost a disassociative perspective. Like, if I get this, now all of a sudden I don't look like them no more. If I can drive this car, I don't look like I'm from the hood. If I can, live in this, now people don't see me as being from the hood. They see me as being from the suburbs. And then you have the other spectrum, to where which you have people in those situations who become so destitute, they've given up. They've accepted it. Like, hey, this is it. And I'm gonna be the best I can be right here in the hood. I'm gonna be the biggest dope boy. I'm gonna be the most hood person that I can be because this is it. I don't have any hope of ever getting up out of here.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So what I believe it's important for us to do is to have a crab in the bucket mentality. And what I mean by that is I think, we look at the crab in the bucket mentality in one way as, the crab's trying to bring to pull the other crab back in. But I would contend that when that one crab is coming out, he's already in unfamiliar territory. That crab's not supposed to be in the bucket. He's supposed to be in the wild. So all of a sudden, when I'm getting my tongs to pull that crab out, he sees familiar territory. Wait a minute, I'm coming up out this bucket. Let me reach down and grab the next crab with me. Even though we might be going to death, we're getting up out of this bucket. And we're going to go together. I'm going to make sure that I ain't going solo. Now, again, that end might be death, but then again, they could be with SeaWorld and they could be going to repopulate the wild. And so that's why I say about this crab in the bucket mentality. Let's reimagine that thing. Hey, man, pull my brother out. Let's not try to disassociate. And we all, I mean, I've been there. I've been guilty of, man, I ain't driving that car, mate. That's that national Negro car right there. What's that 2000 Impala? You ain't catching me in one. Nah, bro.
Regal.
Yeah, you know, brother.
Got a box Chevy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, nah, I don't want that car. Nah, man. No, that 300. Nah, man.
You ain't gonna get me pulled over. The Dodge Magnum.
Yeah, you like, nah, heck no. But again, I was like, wait a minute. Let me check myself. Why do I have an issue with identifying them people? Them the people that's me. Them the people that were me. We're one. Yeah. It's not this compassionate, so to speak, or sympathy that I have from. No, it's solidarity. No, y'all my brothers. Y'all, we all one. When I excel, you excel. And that's the way it should be.
Absolutely, man. Well, man, as y'all can see, like I said before, this documentary is one of those situations where once you sit down and actually look at it and take it for what it's worth, it will open up a conversation that is definitely needed in society right now. We deal with a lot of different things every day. The president, it is a circus right now, and I think a lot of issues that we have in America right now as a whole can be solved if we just sit down and have dialogue with one another. Talk about each other's issues in your neighborhood, in your society, in your city, in your state. We have to get out and exercise the rights that we actually have. Get out, vote with your conscience, and follow the truth as far as your educational level. Don't let someone tell you what you should and what you shouldn't think. And definitely what I got from this documentary is that this woman, she may identify as a black woman and she may actually be a white woman. But one thing she sat down and did is that she decided to make a difference in another culture's life. And she was having great success. But we infiltrated with our own uneducation and made it come to a halt. So I just say, man, as a whole, educate yourself, have dialogue instead of hating on someone and saying what they should and what they shouldn't do. And you get out and go do something. If you see something that needs to be done, figure out a way to do it and get involved. From the show, I'm your host, Albert. From Cleat the Geek, Diddy Roll, my boy G-Dub.
Holla.
We out.